Most people think reading others requires clever questions. It doesn't. The truth is simple. The more you talk, the less you see. The more you explain yourself, the more power you give away. And the faster you react, the easier you are to read, not them. We live in a world where almost everyone is performing. People curate their words, polish their stories, wear masks designed to impress, seduce, or protect. If you rely only on what people say, you will almost always misunderstand who they truly are. Words are cheap. Patterns are not. Stoic philosophy teaches something radically different. You don't uncover truth through interrogation. You uncover it through patience, silence, and disciplined observation. When you stop chasing clarity through conversation, you begin receiving it through behavior. Think back to moments when you felt betrayed, disappointed, or blindsided. Not because you lacked intelligence, but because you trusted words over actions, promises over consistency, emotion over evidence. In this video, you'll learn how Stoics read people quietly and without force. Not to manipulate, not to dominate, but to protect your peace, sharpen judgment, and stop being fooled by appearances. Stop listening to words. Start watching patterns. Most people believe truth hides inside what others say. Stoics know better. Words are easy. Anyone can rehearse them. Anyone can apologize convincingly. Anyone can promise sincerely. Anyone can sound wise at the right moment. Words are flexible. They adjust to the room. They change with incentives. They soften under pressure and harden when convenient. If you judge people by words alone, you will always be one step behind their intentions. Because words are chosen, patterns are revealed. A Stoic does not ask, "What did they say?" A Stoic asks, "What do they keep doing?" Patterns are behavior repeated when no one is watching closely, when there is no performance to maintain, no image to protect, no reward to earn. Watch what someone does in ordinary moments, not during apologies, not during explanations, not during emotional peaks. Character does not show itself when stakes are high. High stakes invite performance. Character shows itself when nothing is at stake. Notice how they behave when plans fall apart. Notice how they act when no one is praising them. Notice how they treat commitments once enthusiasm fades. What repeats is not coincidence, it is priority. Think about how many times you trusted someone because they sounded sincere. They explained themselves well. They knew the right words. They seemed self-aware. And yet, the same behavior returned. The same excuse, dressed differently. The same pattern, slightly rebranded. The disappointment didn't come from surprise. It came from denial. You saw the pattern. You just chose to believe the explanation instead. Stoicism trains you to separate noise from signal. The noise is emotional language. The signal is behavior over time. Someone who respects you does so consistently, not selectively. Someone who values honesty does not become evasive when accountability appears. Someone who is reliable does not need to constantly explain why reliability failed this time. Patterns reveal priorities. Excuses reveal avoidance. A disciplined Stoic habit is this: delay conclusions, but never delay observation. You don't need to confront immediately. You don't need to accuse. You don't need to clarify. You need to watch. Collect data quietly. How do they respond when you stop overgiving? How do they act when you stop explaining yourself? How do they behave when you no longer smooth over discomfort? Silence sharpens perception. When you stop filling space with words, reality steps forward. A person's tone may change, Their story may evolve, their justifications may improve, but habits remain familiar. This is why Stoics value time as a diagnostic tool. Time removes effort. Time exposes defaults. Anyone can act with integrity briefly. Very few can sustain it when comfort or convenience is threatened. If you want to read people clearly, stop interrogating them with questions. Questions invite performance. Instead, ask yourself simple, unemotional questions. Do their actions align with their stated values? Do their behaviors match their self-image? Do they repeat the same cycle after every apology? This is not judgment, it is observation. And observation protects you. When you trust patterns instead of promises, confusion fades. You stop internalizing contradictions that aren't yours. You stop asking, why are they like this? You see clearly, they are like this. That clarity gives you freedom. Freedom to set boundaries without drama. Freedom to create distance without explanation. Freedom to walk away without needing closure. Stoicism does not teach suspicion. It teaches discernment. People reveal who they are every day, quietly, through repetition. The Stoic advantage is simple. You stop listening for reassurance, and you finally start watching. Silence is a test. Most people fail. Most people are comfortable as long as you respond on cue, as long as you explain yourself, as long as you reassure them, mirror their emotions, and fill every pause. They are not interacting with you. They are interacting with your reactions. The moment you withdraw those reactions, something shifts. Silence creates friction. Stoicism understands silence not as absence, but as pressure. When you speak less, you create space. And in that space, people reveal themselves. Without feedback, they don't know which role to play. Without reassurance, they don't know where they stand. Watch carefully. Some people grow anxious. They follow up. They over-explain. They try to pull you back into emotional labor. Others grow irritated. They push. They provoke. They test boundaries to restore control. A few remain steady. They respect the pause. They don't rush you. They don't demand clarity on their timeline. Each response is information. Silence removes the script people prepared for you. Stoics train themselves to resist the impulse to fill silence, not out of coldness, but discipline. Quick reactions expose emotional entry points. They show what unsettles you. They show where influence can be applied. Silence removes leverage. If someone respects you, they will respect your silence. If someone needs control, they will struggle with it. Think about past interactions that left you drained or confused. You were likely doing most of the emotional work, explaining, soothing, clarifying, justifying. Silence would have exposed the imbalance immediately. A calm pause is not aggression. A delayed response is not rejection. A quiet presence is not weakness. Silence sharpens perception. When you are not busy reacting, your awareness expands. You notice urgency where none should exist. You notice pressure disguised as concern. You notice manipulation that once felt like misunderstanding. Silence also reveals how people behave when they can't extract reassurance from you. Some grow kinder, some grow colder, some grow entitled. None of this requires confrontation. The information arrives naturally. Marcus Aurelius wrote about withdrawing inward, not to escape others, but to regain clarity. Silence is that withdrawal in action. It allows you to remain present without being entangled, to observe without engaging, to protect inner order while staying outwardly calm. Stoicism is not emotional shutdown. It is emotional sovereignty. You choose when to speak, not because you're pressured, but because it's purposeful. Practice this carefully. The next time a conversation feels tense, resist the urge to rush. Let the pause exist. Let the question hang. Do not perform silence. Do not weaponize it. Remain grounded. Remain attentive. You'll notice something subtle but decisive. People begin revealing who they are when they are no longer being managed. Silence is not a wall, it is a mirror. And once you learn to use it, you stop being surprised by people. Watch how they treat those who can't offer anything. One of the clearest windows into a person's character appears when there is nothing to gain. Most people are polite when they need something. They are charming when influence is at stake. They are generous when recognition is watching. None of that reveals who they are. It only reveals what they want in that moment. Stoicism teaches you to observe where leverage disappears. Pay close attention to how someone treats people who cannot advance them. Service workers, subordinates, strangers, anyone with no status, no influence, and no ability to reward or punish. This is where effort fades. This is where masks loosen. This is where defaults emerge. A person's values do not change with hierarchy. Only their behavior does. Someone who is genuinely respectful does not switch personalities when the audience changes. Their tone remains steady. Their patience does not evaporate when convenience is gone. Their dignity is not selective. If kindness exists only when it is useful, it is not kindness. It is a strategy. Stoics look for consistency across social layers. Notice how someone speaks about people who are not present, especially those with less power. Do they mock, dismiss, dehumanize, or do they speak with restraint even when no one would challenge them? These details matter. A person who enjoys exerting power over the powerless is not strong. They are compensating. Stoicism recognizes this as a sign of inner disorder. True strength does not need to dominate to feel significant. Many people mistake charm for virtue. Charm is often selective. It appears where it is profitable and disappears where it is not. Virtue, by contrast, is boringly consistent. It does not perform. It does not adjust to impress. It simply is. Think back to moments when you defended someone who later betrayed you. Chances are you judged them by how they treated you, not by how they treated others. You assumed your experience represented their character. Stoicism warns against this narrow lens. How someone treats you is a single data point. How they treat everyone else is the pattern. This is especially important when observing people in authority. Leaders reveal themselves not when things go well, but when they speak to those beneath them. Watch how they give feedback. Do they correct with respect or humiliation? Do they listen or interrupt? Do they acknowledge effort or only demand more? These are not small behaviors. They are character in motion. Stoicism also cautions against being impressed by performative morality. Some people display kindness loudly, but practice it selectively. They need witnesses. Their virtue collapses in anonymity. Quiet decency, on the other hand, persists without applause. You do not need to confront these observations. You do not need to expose anyone. You do not need to warn others. Your task is not to fix people. Your task is to see clearly and choose wisely. When you begin watching how people treat those who offer nothing, confusion fades. You stop making excuses for behavior that has nothing to do with circumstances and everything to do with disposition. This awareness changes how you move. You invest less in appearances and more in alignment. You become less reactive and more selective. You choose relationships based on character, not charisma. Stoicism does not make you cynical. It makes you precise. People show their true nature when power is removed. The Stoic simply learns to notice and remember. Emotional reactions expose hidden motives. Nothing reveals a person faster than what unsettles them. People can rehearse words, they can manage impressions, they can maintain a mask as long as the situation stays comfortable. But the moment something touches a hidden fear, desire, or attachment, control weakens. Emotion leaks truth. Stoicism teaches you to observe reactions, not statements. Words are chosen. Reactions are reflexes. Watch carefully when expectations are challenged, when attention is withdrawn, when control slips from their hands. Emotional reactions are not random. They point directly to what someone is protecting. Anger often guards entitlement. Defensiveness guards ego. Jealousy guards insecurity. Excessive charm guards dependence on approval. These are not moral failures. They are signals. And signals are valuable when you don't argue with them. Notice how someone reacts when you succeed. Do they genuinely celebrate? Or do they minimize, redirect, or quietly compete? Notice how they react when they are corrected. Do they reflect, or do they deflect and assign blame? These moments bypass intention. They expose motivation. Stoicism emphasizes self-mastery for a reason. Anyone ruled by emotion can be steered. A person who cannot tolerate frustration will pressure others. A person who cannot handle uncertainty will seek control. A person who cannot sit with envy will undermine quietly. You do not need to provoke these reactions. Life does that naturally. Your responsibility is awareness. Pay attention to patterns of emotional volatility. Someone who oscillates between praise and withdrawal is not unpredictable. They are regulating themselves through others. Someone who explodes when challenged is revealing a fragile identity. Someone who plays the victim when boundaries appear is signaling manipulation through guilt. The Stoic does not judge these reactions harshly. Judgment clouds perception. Instead, the Stoic records them calmly, like data. Ask yourself simple questions. What consistently triggers them? Who do they become under pressure? What emotion appears when they don't get what they want? This information protects you from false closeness. You stop confusing intensity with depth. You stop mistaking emotional expression for honesty. Some of the most dangerous dynamics are emotionally charged but ethically empty. Stoicism also turns the lens inward. Your own reactions matter too. What triggers you reveals where you are still attached. If you react unconsciously, clarity dissolves. Observing others requires first observing yourself. This creates distance without coldness. You remain present, but not entangled. You understand without absorbing. Emotional reactions are like cracks in a wall. They show where pressure accumulates. Over time, those cracks form a map of fears, a map of desires, a map of unspoken priorities. When you see this map clearly, you stop taking things personally. You realize most reactions have little to do with you and everything to do with someone else's inner economy. This is Stoic freedom. You no longer argue with reactions. You no longer chase explanations. You adjust boundaries based on what has been revealed. Emotion does not lie, it leaks. And the Stoic, calm, grounded, observant, learns to read what others cannot hide, even from themselves. Time reveals what masks are meant to hide. Time is the most honest observer you will ever have. People can perform briefly. They can display patience, kindness, discipline, or loyalty when the moment is short or the reward is clear. But performance requires energy. Time drains effort. Stoicism teaches patience not as passivity, but as strategy. The Stoic does not rush conclusions. They let time do the interrogation. As interactions slow, enthusiasm fades, and novelty disappears, behavior settles into default. What remains is not who someone wants to be seen as, but who they actually are. This is why haste clouds judgment. The faster you move, the easier it is for illusion to keep pace. Stoicism values delay, not because it fears commitment, but because it protects clarity. Notice how people behave when things are no longer urgent, when attention is not immediate, when outcomes are uncertain. Do they remain consistent, or does interest fade the moment gratification is delayed? Watch what happens after apologies, when emotion has cooled, when promises are no longer under spotlight. Do actions change, or does the same cycle return under a new explanation? Time exposes repetition without resistance. This is especially important in relationships that escalate quickly. Intensity often disguises instability. Fast attachment can feel like depth, but Stoicism remains cautious. Anything that demands urgency before trust is earned deserves observation. People who push closeness early often struggle with consistency later. Time also reveals respect. A person who respects you does not rush you. They allow space. They honor pacing. Someone driven by control, validation, or extraction becomes impatient when things do not move in their favor. They frame your boundaries as obstacles. This is not coincidence. Urgency often hides insecurity or ulterior motive. Stoicism remains unmoved by pressure. By allowing time, you remove yourself from manipulation. You deny others the leverage of urgency. Time also reveals how people handle responsibility. Early enthusiasm is common. Sustained reliability is rare. Who follows through when no one is reminding them? Who remains steady when conditions become inconvenient? These moments are quiet. They are not dramatic. And quiet moments are where truth settles. When you trust time, you stop needing explanations. You stop chasing clarity through confrontation. Consistency, or its absence, answers everything. Stoicism teaches discipline in not deciding too soon. Not every behavior needs instant interpretation. Not every relationship needs immediate categorization. Time provides context. Emotion cannot. It filters exaggeration. It neutralizes charm. It exposes contradiction without conflict. Many people get hurt not because they ignored red flags, but because they rushed attachment. They trusted before observing. They invested before understanding. Stoicism corrects this by slowing the inner pace even when life moves fast externally. Time also tests self-control. People who lack discipline reveal themselves through impatience. They push, they pressure, they grow irritated by delay. They confuse your boundaries with resistance. The Stoic does not argue with urgency. They wait. Time does not accuse. It does not explain. It simply shows. And when you learn to trust time more than words, confusion fades. You stop rationalizing inconsistency. You stop excusing misalignment. You see clearly who remains steady when nothing is being gained. This is not suspicion. It is patience with awareness. Time reveals what masks are meant to hide, and the Stoic is willing to wait. Read, don't react. This is the final discipline, and the one most people fail. They notice patterns, they sense inconsistency, they recognize manipulation, and then they react. Stoicism teaches something far more difficult and far more powerful: restraint after clarity. The moment you react, you step back into the very dynamic you were trying to understand. Reaction hands control back to emotion. It reopens debate. It invites denial, distortion, and performance. The Stoic understands this. Truth does not need an argument to remain true. Once you see clearly, your task is not to correct, confront, or expose. Your task is to choose. Clarity is not a call to action. It is a call to positioning. If someone is unreliable, you don't lecture them. You reduce dependence. If someone is manipulative, you don't accuse. You limit access. If someone lacks respect, you don't demand it. You withdraw engagement. No speeches, no ultimatums, no emotional displays. This is not avoidance, it is precision. Many people believe strength looks like confrontation. Stoicism teaches that strength looks like self-command. The most powerful response is often none at all. Silence, distance, consistency. These communicate more than words ever could. Reading without reacting protects your peace. When you stop trying to change others, you stop exhausting yourself. You accept reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. This is not resignation, it is alignment with truth. Stoicism recognizes that people are shaped by their inner state, not by your explanations. You cannot argue someone into virtue. You cannot reason someone out of dysfunction they benefit from. What you can do is remove yourself from harm. This discipline refines self-respect. When you react impulsively, you trade dignity for temporary relief. When you remain grounded and silent, you retain authority over yourself. That authority compounds. Others sense it, they adjust, or they fall away. Both outcomes are acceptable. Reading without reacting also sharpens judgment. You stop personalizing behavior. You stop internalizing dysfunction. You see patterns as patterns, not insults. This emotional distance allows you to choose relationships from clarity rather than hope. The Stoic does not need closure conversations. Closure comes from understanding. Once you see clearly, the urge to explain disappears. Your actions become your answer. There is a calm that follows this discipline. You move slower, but surer. You speak less, but with intention. You trust yourself more than appearances. The ultimate Stoic lesson is this: knowledge is only power when it does not enslave you. If understanding leads to obsession, resentment, or control-seeking, it is incomplete. True mastery is understanding followed by peace. Read, detach, decide. You don't need to expose people. You only need to stop giving the wrong people access to your time, your energy, and your inner life. And clarity, once earned, needs no explanation. You were never meant to read people loudly or force clarity through confrontation. Stoic insight is quiet. It comes from watching patterns instead of chasing explanations, from allowing silence to reveal what words conceal, from letting time strip away performance. The goal was never to control others. It was to regain command over yourself. When you stop reacting impulsively, confusion fades. When you trust behavior over promises, deception loses power. When you choose distance over drama, peace becomes natural. This is not suspicion. It is discernment. You don't need to expose anyone. You don't need closure conversations. You don't need validation to move on. Understanding is enough. Choice follows. This is NexusMind, where awareness replaces noise, where restraint creates authority, where calm becomes strength. Carry this quietly. Observe more than you speak. Pause before you respond. Let consistency reveal what emotion once hid. Remain observant, remain steady, and guard your inner peace.